This is Critical Nonsense, our high-lowbrow show about culture, science, and tech. This week, I asked Joey about reading. Woo!
Butterfly in the sky. This is what a Joey sounds like. And this is what an executive producer and Reading Rainbow, Jess Vander, sounds like.
Hi, this is Jess. Are we thinking of the same song?
Take a look. It's in a book. Reading Rainbow.
Oh, no.
I can do anything. Maybe it says go anywhere. You know, LeVar Burton.
Sorry, Aaron would know better than me. Sorry, Aaron.
You are not watching PBS as a child?
You and Aaron always know the same things, and I'm like, I've never heard of any of that.
You've never heard of Reading Rainbow?
Maybe I've heard of Reading Rainbow.
It was like a story about books and reading on PBS.
A story about reading?
Or a show about books and reading and showing authors.
Isn't reading fun? That was that idea?
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
But it was, LeVar Burton has received awards for promoting child literacy and things of that nature.
Wonderful.
No big deal.
That seems like a really meaningful contribution.
Yeah, it is.
Wow.
He was also on Star Trek The Next Generation.
Super cool resume.
It's Geordie LaForge, the guy with the visor.
People should take a lesson out of the LeVar Burton book these days. People are bad at reading now.
True.
Right? Bring LeVar Burton back.
Yeah. He never went away. He was just out here continuing to promote literacy, but we need to give...
Okay, right. More of a platform.
More of a platform.
Yeah.
More money.
More money, more investment.
More books.
More movies. More blockbuster reading films.
Protect LeVar Burton is, I guess, what we're saying.
Yeah.
Jess.
Yeah.
The reason I sang that song so well...
Nailed it.
No notes. Was related to your question.
That's right. Is listening to an audiobook reading? This is the question. And I'll give you a little more context and then give you a real question, but that is basically it. We at Sylvain have a company book club. It's really fun. And the range of books that we read are sometimes very polarizing for some. And, much discussion is had. Great things abound. We are currently, if you're curious, reading Yesteryear summer book by, I believe, author's name is Caro Claire Burke, but count me. And anyway, talking with a few colleagues this morning, it came up that a number of people are consuming this book by listening to the audiobook. And then we just got onto this conversation, and colloquially, some were describing, I just finished reading it. But then it was like, wait, I thought you said you were listening to the book on audiobook. And it was like, well, yeah, yeah. And it became this hot topic question that, of course, I had to bring to you too, to figure out whether listening to a book is the same thing as reading it, and if so, why, and if not, why not? Let us discuss.
As a book listener
Whoa.
Versus a book reader, it is a weird thing. I find that there is like a strange purity test among some people around the way in which one consumes the story. I find it odd. And I'm close with people who have sort of like purist opinions about it and feel like, I got a book from one of my best friends signed by the author, wherein he got the author to sign it and make fun of me about listening to the books.
Whoa.
Actually, one of the Dungeon Crawler Carl books.
Whoa.
Signed, and he likes the audiobooks also, but he's just happy to make fun of me in the signature of the book. And it's like, I heard you can't read, you could at least try, or something like that is the caption inside the book.
Wow. Side question. Is the author of Dungeon Crawler Carl the narrator in the audiobook?
No, but they have like a very close relationship and often appear in things together, I think as a result of the audiobooks. And uh to some degree it sounds like the author, he's joked, and I don't know how true it is or isn't. He's like, I've killed characters that I didn't like the way that he narrated, and or like increase the prominence of characters that I did like the way that he narrated.
Whoa.
You know, um, but it's like he does it's a very lauded uh, audio performance. Like he does a good job with it. So I think it expands on the book, and they've like done fun things in the process also.
You're touching on something interesting, but I also want you to answer the question. Is listening reading to you?
I mean, there's like semantically it's not the same, but I think
like,
it is.
In short.
Like in a like meta conceptual way, I think it's the same.
Great. This will make for a good discussion. My answer is it is not the same, but that I think it's really complicated why that is. And the first piece of that, I think, is related to your purity test thing, which is that the idea of reading is two parts. It is the mechanism, the format by which you are consuming the material. And then it is the comprehension relationship that you have with the material, mm-hmm. which can only happen in some intimate setting or context. I think like the purity test idea is not only, oh, did you look at it with your eyes, but it's, did you have the attention span to sit and look at the thing? And can I picture you like curled up and taking out that time where you're only focused on that, whereas the mental image of you're vacuuming and you're listening, you're vacuuming and you're listening to this book, like that was not the way I intended.
Yeah.
Which is also interesting, especially with some of these books, that it could be the author or a voice actor whose job is to bring some of that to life. One could argue you have more stimulus and creative reign in an audiobook to sort of take the words off of the page. And then others might say, well, but that's actually part of the problem. What if, it's a slippery slope to having somebody else's creative interpretation versus the words have to read for themselves. And mm-hmm. It's the words, not the spoken word. Mm-hmm. Right. So I think that's definitely got to be part of this, is like the how people are picturing your relationship with the material crosses a little bit the lines of the format and the depth and sort of intensity of the thing.
Yeah. I mean, I think I agree. Like that is sort of what often happens as part of the framing of like, well, I sat down in a quiet room and read this and envisioned the way that the person moved through a room inside of my mind, and you can't take that from me. I mean, it goes even further though, like that it is like full of purity tests, right? Like, oh, you read it on a Kindle, I actually held a paper book. Or I only get the hardcovers, or I got it from the library or I got it from a local bookstore.
So
like it
true.
It is like surrounded in purity tests and reading in this weird way. And like, I can be like, I support local bookstores, or I buy audiobooks. I'm giving money to the author, the same author that you gave money to create this piece of art. Like that I'm supporting the arts through a different mechanism. I think like on a fundamental level, it's about engaging with a story and the concepts in a story in whatever method works for you, right? Like, did I understand it? Am I thinking about it? Am I able to have a conversation with you about it? Yeah. Like check. Like the sort of sensory modality with which you consume it, right? Like on a neurological level, both methods are going through like Wernicke's area in your brain. where language comprehension is happening. One is coming through like a different part of your brain. One's coming through like temporal lobe and one is coming through occipital lobe, but they're both landing in the parietal lobe in Wernicke's area where you are like processing and understanding language. So like, I don't know, there will be distinctions, and people do studies, and some people process information better
Right.
auditorily and some people process information better visually, and it just gets weird. Like, I don't know why you need me to consume it in the same way as you for it to be meaningful for us to have a conversation about it, right? Like, there's a lot of judgment mixed into it.
Certainly. And I would say the other piece is to bring up the senses is the idea of like, you know, in our vision loving society, which we've talked about a lot, it's like, well, vision is best. Reading, looking at the thing, more valuable. That listening's down the totem pole.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's not as important or as valuable or whatever. But I do think that there is something, whether it's fair or not, and I think that comes back to, is it the same thing? Is like, well, but like that is a different way of, that's a different experience. And I think the idea that even if your comprehension is not different, or like fundamentally the way your brain is consuming that stuff isn't different, like that more than anything, it is a different idea and potentially a different use case is probably the main distinction. That idea of like the mode that you're in when you're listening to something, and what other senses remain available to you
Mm-hmm.
when the other is occupied. Like that I feel like is the main piece. So if you're reading, how can you do any of the other things?
Mm-hmm.
Right? At least that's the idea. It's like you can't be moving around. You can't be. You are forced into this like locked in mode, and that whether it's tied to virtue or it's tied to all these other stuff is besides the point. Is like, at least I can picture that if you read that book, I know I can guess the mode you were in when you did it. Versus, I listened to the audiobook. There's actually a wider range of how intently you were consuming that thing. You could have been listening as intently as I read, but you also could have been cooking dinner and commuting or whatever else that there was. And I think that we all have our associations of, again, you know, oh, but if you're commuting, it probably was pretty distracting to have your passengers or the road or whatever you drive to work, like all those other things. They probably interfered with your ability. At least I think that's the assumption. They probably messed with your ability to be as close and have as close of a relationship to the material as I did, is the idea. Again, whether that's true or fair and how people actually retain information and that type of thing, I think is besides the point. But I think that when we say reading, we mean, did you look at it? Were you focused solely at looking at words?
Yeah. I mean, it feels to me like neurologically judgmental.
Fair.
Right? Like, because you can have a conversation with someone who will acknowledge that like people have different cognitive styles, people have different sensory things, people like they will acknowledge all of those things and then say that like you didn't read it because of X, Y, and Z thing. Like, I can list all of the reasons why it is easier for me to listen to a book than it is for me to sit and like a new developments in neuroscience around ADHD as an example of like being still creates not enough neural stimulation, which is why like I fall asleep instantly if I sit still on a plane. Like, as soon as I sit down on a plane, doesn't matter what time of day it is, like first thing in the morning, I'm rested, end of the day, I'm tired, doesn't matter. I'm asleep before that plane takes off. And it like, could sitting and reading a book experience be enjoyable? Yeah, totally. I would love maybe to try that out. It doesn't work for me. But like over the past, I don't know, 16, 17 years, I've read hundreds of books by listening to them and engaging with the content, and am able to have conversations with other people who read those books and like interrogate things in the process. It's like my brain just works differently.
Right.
And it's like the choice in this instance is I don't read books or I listen to them. Right.
Yeah.
Like, but I am going through an exercise of trying to engage with difficult material at times. I'm going through an exercise of just trying to like stimulate and learn and do what like there's just a weird like, why are you yucking somebody's yum?
Well, and that's, I think the funny thing is like, and this relates to so many other, honestly, probably a ton of highly hot button political debates happening today. Like all of these things come back to, it's like, well, are you trying to preserve, is there this idea of like trying to preserve the sanctity of a word, or is it like, no, but that's maybe, and I think this is how I feel about this question of listening and reading, is like, I don't know that I have any desire for the purity of, or like the sanctity of, oh, it's like, it's not as good or any of that. It's just like, I think that the language we have describes, in my mind, more the format. Mm-hmm. And actually is not it's not about, did you consume the book? We just don't have the word for it. In my head, it's about that, of like, technically you did, like, that's not what happened. Like, that's a rewriting of what actually happened. You did listen to it, but that doesn't mean that you are inferior for doing so. And it's annoying that it carries all of this baggage and these purity tests layered on top. Like, that is really annoying. And also, but you didn't read it. Right? But what? Like, and I think it's a funny allegory for so many interesting broader conversations of like, but what are you saying when you're pushing back? Like, are you just, like, what part are we arguing over even?
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's a weird version of this also, to be like, we were telling stories verbally through our voices way before we had a written language even. Right. Like, there's a version where I can be like, oh, actually listening to stories is a more pure form for human consumption of like listening to fiction. Right. Like whatever.
Yes.
But I think it is that like that feeling of like, if you are a reader for some reason, that pursuit and time and investment in that activity makes people feel like, in fact, it's probably taking me more time than like a typical reader to consume. I'm not listening to it at like 2x. I'm listening at 1x speed. Like like Becky reads books faster than I do, like my wife, but I still listened to probably over 60 books in the past 12 months. Like,
right. And unfortunately, the only word you could have to describe yourself in that way is, I guess I'm a listener, like a reader. It's like, you don't even have the word to say I'm a reader.
Yeah.
Because again, in purely the format part of this whole conversation, technically that wasn't the format that you were using.
Yeah. But it's like the words didn't change. They were the exact words in the exact order, delivered through my ear instead of my eye.
Well, and it also, the extended universe of this, when you think about like watching, another mode that is probably even more in people's associations passive than listening, right? Yeah. It's like, in order of active to passive, it's probably reading, listening, watching. Because then you get into like, oh, like film had to claw its way for being seen as like, this is you can apply all of those purity ideas to cinema as well, because it's like, oh, like look at all of the creative levers and the art form, and it's more complex, or whatever, because there's more inputs that are controlled by, like, all of us trying to fight for our preferred mode of consumption in a way.
Well, but we don't judge it in other places. At least I don't think, right? Like, I always went to lectures when I was in college because I like process information well in that format. So like hearing someone explain it in a lecture format like worked well for me, and I was able to like retain information in that. And so then like, not that I didn't like look at the textbook or something like that, but I like very much erred on the side of going to the lecture,
Right.
absorbing the information. And like, we're not judging like, oh, you learned that in a lecture.
Yeah.
Like, well, I read it in a book and therefore, you know.
Yeah, I mean, but it also ties back to the you know, the inclusivity of forms like watching and listening, and the exclusivity of literacy in a way, right? It's like, oh, well, have you, like that joke that the author had left in your book when, you know, your friend made fun of you, you can tell the story better. But, you know, if there's like the running joke of like, oh, you couldn't even read, it's like, actually, that is like a fundamental thing, is that to be able to read is a level of exclusion to, you know, and therefore is that yet another purity test or elitism test or something of like, oh, well, could you? Were you capable?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think, I don't know. It's just such a weird one, and I don't like, I can't, even if I sit and read a book, which I have ever, you know, because I have a hard time forming mental pictures. Like, I don't get the same experience that other people get when they're like sitting and they're like, I can twist the apple in my mind and see a landscape that I've created and move through. Like, I'm like, there's nothing. Like, I'm not getting those kind of visuals. In fact, it's easier for me. Again, we've spoken about this before, but like, I have a spatial construct that's not necessarily a visual construct, but like when I'm listening, those spatial relationships between things are easier to draw on when I'm not having to like force my eyes onto like the words on a page. And I don't know. I don't like, it just feels like a weird, I don't know. It's like ableist. I don't know.
Like, or I mean, that is the other way of looking at things, and a very valid one. I think it's just a matter of like, and then why are we even talking about this, and why are we even debating over this? Like, is it so important to know in the technical format, or is it ultimately more judgmental, more, you know, splitting hairs on things that don't actually matter for the basis of the thing, which is really like, were you able to get into this thing, and can we talk about this book over book club?
Yeah. I mean, most of these things are for like personal enjoyment, right? But if we're talking about nonfiction or sort of like things that are broadly like didactic, like if you understand the concepts, you walked away with those things, and that is in theory what you are supposed to see as sort of praiseworthy or honorable or however we want to think about it. And
your book count of the year, how many did you get through? How many did you labor over?
That I don't know. Like, what do you want to? I struggle with this one, and this is like not the first time that I've thought about it clearly, but I think it's kind of silly, and it's like, I think people are telling on themselves when they get weird about it.
Wow. Fascinating.
I mean, my wife loves to read, like read over 400 books last year, which is like bonkers to me. And she's like, yeah, you read that book. Like, she doesn't get it. She's like, I like reading it this way, but like, I don't know. Like, I've had conversations with her that I've gone more in depth on the things she asked me to read, and she's like, oh, I guess I wasn't like thinking about it that closely. Not that she's not capable. She was just like, I was just in the story and like letting it sort of wash over me. And I'm like, see, I was paying attention. I don't think that main character passed the Bechdel test. Like, and she's like, yeah, what? Really? Oh, I guess you're right. You know, so
there's reading the reading way and reading the listening way.
Yeah, it's more about like, are you crazy and have to analyze every single thing that you read, which I do, largely. Is this a commentary on anyways, read your book, listen to your book, get it in a graphic novel. Like, I don't know. Like, it's about the enjoyment of stories, if like fiction or nonfiction. Like, it's just immersing in something. If someone's doing that and enjoying themselves, stop yucking people's yum.
Wow. There you go. You heard it here first, folks.
Was that the wrap-up corner?
You like to do that.
Had you wrapped it up?
No.
I don't. Well,
I think that there it is.
don't yuck other people's yum. There you go.
Reading is fun for everyone.
Critical Nonsense is a Sylvain production.
Brought to you by Rainbows Full of Book.
As always, we'd like to thank our executive producer and very literacy, Jess Vander.
You are welcome. We'd also like to thank sound engineer and a word to the wise, Alex Contel.
We'd like to thank our programming coordinator and much book, Les Jacobs.
And thanks to our production crew and deep listeners, Sarah Gilbert, Nora Mestrich, Chrissy Jensen, Amanda Medina, and Amy Waters.
And as always, thanks, Helen.
Thank you.
Special thanks
To
Words.
Language.
I can't remember who said it. Was it you that said it? No, Sarah has made fun of me twice in 2 days about having an annoying vocabulary.
Yeah, that makes sense. She's probably done the same to me. I'm sure I
Rude.
deserved it.
It's rude.
Yeah, but maybe fair.
I think when you listen to things,
Oh my.
you have them available
Oh my. Now
with connection to speech.
Now who's talking about judgment? Okay.
No, I wasn't judgment. That was a flex.
Special thanks to The Sun. I feel like The Sun makes really interesting literary appearances. Yep.
Like the celestial orb.
Yeah, just The Sun.
I mean, it's only got 1 billion years left.
He's like
We should appreciate it.
He's a good character,
Sun, Mr. Golden Sun. Yeah.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
I'd like to thank the audiobook reader of the Dungeon Crawler series because he's great. What is his name?
While you're thinking about that, I'd like to thank Nora Mestrich for organizing and running book club at Sylvain. It's really fun. Thanks, Nora.
And Nora, if at some point you would like to add a book I would like to it that I could listen to and you wouldn't judge me, I'd totally be open to that.
You'd be joining? Yeah, you'd be open.
I just want to come to the book club. It's Jeff Hayes is the...
Thanks, Jeff Hayes.
Yeah, thanks, Jeff Hayes.
It's not called Reading Club. It's called Book Club for books in whatever way you want.
Audio or...
whatever formats. Whatever.
Paper.
Whatever it is. Don't overthink it.
Yeah.
Books.
You don't have to palpate the pulp.
Yeah. What?
Well, maybe Sarah was onto something.
Tell us. Send us your hot takes. What do you think? Be mad at us.
All right.
Or
love
not.
You, mean it,
okay,
bye.
bye.